Welcome to Lead. I'm going to talk about being thankful today. You know, we're in November. November leads into Thanksgiving, and I like to think that people are becoming a little more aware of being thankful. You know, sometimes we can go through life and get a little bit of an unthankful attitude, or just not stopping to look at the many blessings in our life. Because Thanksgiving, well, before I say that, get some paper and a pen, or get your mobile device so you can put some things down that you're going to think about. Because here's the deal: Thanksgiving, being thankful, is all about focus. Where's your focus at? Right? If your focus is on I don't have, I want and I didn't get it, focus is this didn't go right for me, well, you can become pretty unthankful and kind of miserable. But when your focus is on what you've been blessed with and what you have, well, there's a heart of thankfulness that flows. You really do find yourself positioned in an attitude of gratitude. And in the Old Testament, in Deuteronomy chapter 8, read 4 verses here. 4 verses, starting with verse 10 in chapter 8 of Deuteronomy. It's the 5th book in the Bible. It says this: when you have eaten and are full, then you shall bless the Lord your God for the good land which he has given you. Goes on to say in verse 11, beware that you do not forget the Lord your God by not keeping his commandments, his judgments, and his statutes, which I commanded you today, lest when you have eaten and are full and have built beautiful houses and dwell in them, and when your herds and your flocks multiply, and your silver and your gold are multiplied. This is sounding good. And and all that you have is multiplied. When your heart is lifted up, I was sad, and you look around and think, look at this, and you forget the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt and from the house of bondage. Keep your focus on what God is doing for you. And I would just encourage you, take a few moments and review in your life. Here we are, we're coming up. We're in the closing weeks of 2021. What are the things that God has done for you this year that you need to be thankful for? Jot them down. You know, get your fingers out, put them in your iPad or your phone. What are the things? And shift your focus on the wow, God has done amazing things, instead of, well, look what hasn't went my way and what hasn't happened. Because all of us can get into that. Being thankful is we learn that, right? We're not necessarily born with it, I don't think. Because, you know, when children are young, you can give them something, but you have to teach them to say, now what do you say? You know how their parents do this. Now what do you say? Thank you. Why? Because you're teaching them to be thankful. It's a learned attitude to be thankful. Once I learn it, I need to practice. The way I practice it is being focused on what God is doing. It's a requirement. Being thankful is a requirement to go into God's presence. Psalms 100 verse 4 says, enter his gates with thanksgiving. It's the protocol. You don't get there without being thankful. And so my challenge to you is over these next couple of weeks leading up to Thanksgiving and these last several weeks before the end of 2021, review what God has done in your life and bless the Lord. Be thankful. Be thankful. It's a requirement. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God concerning you. Isn't it wild? God's will for me is that I'm thankful in everything because God has done so much for me. And so just challenge you, be thankful. Now here's what will happen. The team that you're serving on, the ministry that you're giving your time for, the people that you're leading, the endeavors that you're making during this time, whether it's being a part of buying some gifts for children or donating a coat or serving in a ministry or helping with something like Operation Christmas Child. When you do those things, you'll do them out of a heart that is filled with joy because you're thankful, because you focused on what God has done for you. and now you want to give out of that. That's why around Elevation Church we call it Thanksgiving back, because we're thankful, and because we're thankful, we want to give out of that overflow. And that's God's word for you, right? Jesus came to give life, John 10:10, to give life, and life, I like to say it like this, with overflow, abundant, to the full, to the max. That's available for you. And I want to tell you, it'll change the dynamic of the team. And you'll quit saying me all the time, and you'll say we. I's will disappear, being replaced with we's, because together God is doing something in our lives, and we're so thankful that we get to be a part of a great team, of a ministry that's doing something, of a church that worships and loves God. I encourage you, take some time and write it out. Write down what God has done for you, and shift your focus during this time. I know many of you already are there. I'm just encouraging all of us, take that challenge, shift our focus. And I just know this, you're going to bless the Lord as you do. Thank you.